In the Cambridge Dictionary, the meaning of bilingualism is the fact of being able to use two languages equally well. But this is a concept that is not so easy to define, since individuals with different bilingual characteristics may be classified as bilingual. So that means that one person can be proficient in the ability to converse and communicate orally, but other can be proficient in the ability to reading into languages. And it is to be noted that being able to express yourself in two languages takes time. So it is not after studying a language for 6 months that a person can become bilingual. And for the author Haugen, a balanced bilingual is a person who was native-like competence in both languages. And more frequently, the term is used to refer to an individual who was roughly equal ability to in both languages. The concept second language is also called L2, and it is the language that is not the native language of the speaker, but it is learned later. And sometimes it is a foreign language, but it can also be another language that is used in the speaker's home country. And for example, in Canada, that there are two official languages, which are French and English, and some people use both. And referring to the first language, it is the language that the speakers learn in childhood and that still is spoken. And it should be clear that the dominant language, that is the language that the speaker uses the most, is not necessarily the first language, because second language can also be the dominant one.
A foreign language is a language that is not widely spoken in a community, a language that is not native to the speaker or to the country. So for example, Canada has two official languages, English and French. So let's say a person is born in Canada in a home with parents that speak English. So English will naturally become that person's first language. And if that person later learns French, French becomes the second language. But French will not be the foreign language, because in Canada, French is an official language and you can get around the city by speaking French. But if that person later learns Spanish, Spanish will become their foreign language, because Spanish is not an official language in Canada and you cannot get around the city by speaking Spanish. Culturally relevant pedagogy is a skill of teaching in multicultural or cross-cultural settings. This pedagogy is displayed by student-centered approaches, in which the student's cultural strengths are used to promote the student's academic identity. It takes into account the student's differences and diversity. It requires the teacher to use knowledge, prior experiences, and references with the students to make learning more relevant and effective to them and their context.
Even though languages like Portuguese and Colombian indigenous languages should be respected and taken into account, we don't agree that they should have the same importance as English, because English is widely spoken in the world. It is the language of technology, science, and health. Although the authors of the document suggest that indigenous languages should be taken into account in bilingual conversations, we think that is only relevant in our context but not for the international one.